they're dead. They're all messed up. All messed up.
You wouldn't give her that flower, would you?
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I finished Castlevania Nocturne, and it's good, man. I know it's not like your cup of tea, the anime aspect of it and everything, but those series, each season kicks ass.
Nice.
They do a good. The voice acting is good. The storytelling is good. The way they layer on the Belmonts, the different generations of Belmonts is pretty damn cool. I hope they keep that whole thing
Was it
going.
better than the previous season? Because I feel like compared to the original Castlevania run, the first 4 seasons, Nocturne is good, but it I don't know, it was just missing something.
Season 1 was all exposition, like no action. And season 2 is all action. Everything that you're watching is just balls to the wall action. Now, compare that to Trevor Belmont fighting death and like a righteous sacrifice for 2 full episodes. Nothing's going to beat that in the first season. Castlevania was done so well, and they upped the ante with the actual graphics and everything. Saying graphics, I'm old. The animation style and stuff like that's like second to maybe just UFO Table. It's just damn well done. That's all I gotta say. Now, does it hold up to a 1981 slasher flick that knocked everybody on their asses? No, I don't think so.
Couldn't possibly.
No. I was putting off watching My Bloody Valentine, though, to finish Castlevania Nocturne because I got so into it. But I got to tell you, it was worth the wait.
Yeah, man. The original is just so gritty and perfect. Like, they even cast it so well with guys who look like they could be minors.
They all look like miners. They look like they wake up with their skin already covered in coal dust as normal humans, not as characters
I
in the
hope
movie.
they don't have the black lung like Derek Zoolander got.
They probably have the black lung pop. But for those of you guys who don't realize, we are doing a special Valentine's Day episode, and this one is on My Bloody Valentine, the original and the remake.
My Bloody Valentine holds a special place in my heart, just because when I first was introduced to it, I was getting into a lot of films and doing a lot of film study in high school, and this was one of the classics that came upon me on my own accord through the early days, I guess, of Shudder, when Shudder was like on a channel or something similar. And the biggest thing that caught my eye is that it's not about teenagers. It's about young adults, working class. They're in Canada, but it has like a Midwest vibe to it. And it's a different vibe because usually teenagers are like, oh, we're going to go smoke dope. And these guys are like, no, we're going to go have a beer. We're going to go hang out, have fun, maybe smoke a little weed in like, the creepy junkyard. But we're going to have a good time as this miner is killing every one of us off for celebrating Valentine's Day.
And by that, he means minor, not like a minor, not an underage person. This is an above age person who was trapped in a coal mine. Why don't we give a brief little synopsis, because we've been doing these obscure movies and we haven't really explained the plot points to the listeners too well. Why don't you guys give just kind of like a real generalized plot overview of My Bloody Valentine? John.
You want me to?
Yeah.
So, My Bloody Valentine centers on Harry Warden, who was a miner who was trapped in a mining accident and then took revenge upon people related to the mine. In the original, in the remake, he is a cannibal who then winds up in a coma, and then
My Bloody Twist.
way more convoluted in the remake. And then
John doesn't like the remake.
John does not like the remake.
I'm going to whisper things to you as he goes through this.
Okay. Completely lost my train of thought.
Sorry. So he's a in the original he's a miner who gets trapped in a coal chute in a shaft in the mine, and it gets closed off, and he dies, and he curses the town. Right. Yep. That's the big over. Like, he curses the town. Now I don't know why he cursed them. Was it their fault he got trapped and they were like, screw that guy, we're not going to go get him?
Yeah,
Right?
it's
They didn't go get him.
They left.
yeah. I think it's implied that there's some mismanagement in the mine,
I
and
think
maybe
I
it's
think
not
you might be right
safety
about that.
standards aren't met.
It was a shocking revelation. And then, so his thing is he curses them for not coming to get him, and he dies on Valentine's Day, or he's trapped on Valentine's Day. So they're never allowed to celebrate Valentine's Day, or else he'll kill you.
Yes.
Which I think the stakes are significantly too low. Because if there's one friggin' holiday, I think we can all agree that we could ignore, it's Valentine's Day. The only place that benefits is like Hallmark and the Sizzler for Valentine's Day. But anyway, they ignore it and they decide, no, we're going to stand our ground and have a big sock hop on Valentine's Day. And then bedlam ensues, right?
Yeah, and then Harry Warden shows up and starts, or what you assume to be Harry Warden, shows up and starts killing people
This is spoiler heavy, John.
with parts in Valentine chocolate boxes.
Yeah. Some of the deaths in the original are top-notch gory goodness. I was shocked at how gory it was. I mean, it wasn't like there were movies that weren't back then, but this one was particularly well done.
Yeah, the effects in the original are spectacular. Especially, they had no budget.
No, I didn't have any money. What I'd heard, so I wanted to run this by you. In my very scant research that I did, I found out that they were making movies. There was a loophole. And if you produced a movie out of Canada, they were able to not pay taxes on that film. I don't know if that means they didn't have to pay taxes on the box office take, or they didn't pay taxes on whatever else, but you could produce the movie out of Canada under one of their shell production companies and you would save a ton of cash. And there was a bunch of movies that came out because of that were of that era and stuff before they fixed that glitch. And this was one of them. And that's why it takes place in Canada instead of West Virginia, which is totally where it's meant to be, in my opinion. But did either of you guys get any of that at all?
I didn't get anything on that note from my research. I just thought it was just a
Okay.
film made in Canada, and it was just something they were trying to push through, and something new they were given a taste for. The whole idea of American cinema going to Canada. I was calling it Canada. I don't even know what a Canada is. Canada,
Fine. We're not editing that out either. Canada is our new
you
romanticism.
know.
Canada goes in the Ryan
Yes.
dictionary.
Canada, we're gonna put them tariffs on that Canada. That's the way that's gonna work, and that's probably how they fix this loophole too. Who was the president in '81?
81 was Reagan.
Yeah.
It was he wouldn't stand for that shit. Shut down that damn production company. Tear down the wall.
So the thing I came up with is when they the mine that they found to shoot it in had just closed down. So they signed, so it was, all the stuff was still there. They weren't going to have to go and get like things to make it look like an active mine. It had shut down within like 6 months.
Oh, perfect.
So they signed the deal, and then the people of the town went and cleaned the whole mine up for the movie. So when they got there to shoot, they had to, I forget if the director said it was $50,000 or $100,000 to re-dirty the mine.
30,000.
Oh my god.
30,000, and they cleaned it up. It was as clean as Disneyland, according to a quote I read. So you can eat off that floor. Just imagine
That's wild.
chemicals.
I don't want to imagine.
It's
I don't want to imagine that for 1 second.
I don't want to imagine a minute in a mine.
No, that's a terrible existence down there. I once went to the level below the subway in New York City when I worked there, and climbed down an 85-foot ladder from the subway. You could feel the earth getting warmer around you, and just being in there, there's a stillness and a vitality to it a little bit. It's awful. I do not like it. Do not want to eat.
You find
grams
any
in hand.
chuds?
No chuds. No chuds. The closest thing to chuds were in the subway. We found a dude who made a house out of VHS tapes. Like they were stacked like bricks, and they were in the Y of 2 tracks, and he set them up so that basically it was like a windbreak at the beginning, and he was behind them, like where my head is to my hands here, if you're watching the video, and he had them all stacked like that. He wasn't in it when we went by it, and I was disappointed because it was a really good fort, like a
I want a
perfect
house
fort.
made of videotapes.
There was a ton of them. He must have had 400 or 500 of them per wall.
What happens when he
Pretty
wants to
cool.
watch one? And it's like it messes up the whole thing.
He
Pulls it
doesn't.
out, it collapses.
He defecates in there, Ryan. He defecates in there. He sleeps where he shits. That man's. Those were simply just convenient tools for him.
Probably 20 copies of The Shadow right by his head, built in his fireplace.
Maybe, who knows? Who knows? But no chuds. So with My Bloody Valentine, there's in the first movie, there's not a lot of work done in the mine. The third, I'd say, last third of it, there's more stuff that goes down there. And in the remake, there's a lot more in the mines. But in the first movie, a significant amount of it's done in the town itself. And
Yes.
let's go into the costume. Yeah, I guess you'd say the costume. This could have been one of the iconic slasher costumes, and it just didn't make the cut. I guess the movie itself didn't make the cut either, but
Didn't get seen enough, but that mask.
yeah, that's the mask right there.
That is like top 5 horror masks for me, probably.
It's good.
Definitely top 5, maybe top 2. I think it sort of draws like the Scooby-Doo generation because it's also very minor 49er.
True.
So you already have that connection if you grew up on Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, fair. That makes sense. Yeah, I think it is minor 49er. One of the things I liked in the remake, by the way, we will do the original and then the remake, but just the part where he leans in after he traps him in the cage and he turns the light on, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I feel like they borrowed from this aesthetic for BioShock a little bit with the Big Daddies. If you guys played BioShock at all, listeners and or co-hosts, the Big Daddies outfits, they don't look like him. The shirt that John's got on right there, they don't have that minor goggles, aerator, or whatever you call it, respirator. It's a different thing, but it's the same vibe. The vibe is very much so the exact same, where he's so alien inside of all of that gear. And it's scary. He walks around with a pickaxe. There's another weapon of choice too, isn't there?
In the original, it's just a pickaxe. I think for the remake, it's also just a pickaxe as well. And they use that 3D very well with those kills with the pickaxe. Tom Atkins comes to mind very strongly.
So in the original, there are some outside implements like the shower head,
Yeah, good call.
but it's primarily a pickaxe.
My favorite murder in the original is the pickaxe up through the bottom of the mouth, which probably isn't the first time it's been done, but it definitely feels like it's the first time it's been done where something also came out of the eye. The pickaxe goes through the bottom and then pops the eye out. And that was gory as hell. It was cool too.
Such a bad way for that bartender to go out, man.
Didn't really deserve it.
He was so he knew the danger. He warned everybody of the danger. And he went there anyway to try to prank the kids and scare them.
It's
And he got a
Valentine's Day.
pickaxe through the chin.
Well, the beginning scene when he's got the prostitute and she's like showing him the heart tattoo, and he picks her up and puts her through the pickaxe, and you see it go through the heart. That was pretty cool graphics, and it was like very like Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre when he puts the one of Sally's friends on the hook, on the meat hook. It had that vibe.
Yeah, that's a tough scene.
You saw that grit and you have that gore and that violence, but that's what makes it so different from a lot of the 80s slasher films that came out. But that's also what led to it getting cut 9 minutes from it because Paramount was afraid of the backlash they were going to have because of Friday the 13th. That Kevin Bacon scene with the arrow, there was a good amount of backlash on it that caused a lot of films to kind of watch what they were doing, sort of.
Siskel and Ebert were rough on it too. I think they saw it. I don't know if they previewed it for their stupid film review before or after they did the cut of the 9 minutes, but they went in on it. I mean, Ebert specifically was being a real jerk about it, to be honest. Oh, they can't lower the bar more with these stupid slasher movies. And he looks so stupid with his dumb haircut and his huge glasses.
Until they did. I mean, they notoriously hated slashers. Like shoot, I just Silent Night, Deadly Night. When they reviewed it, they read everybody involved in the production and just every name, shame, shame,
Wow.
they hated slashers. They mostly hated the horror genre for a long time.
I don't really know too many of. Oh, I don't know why they would review them in the first place. If they're just going to be doing like Casablanca and stuff like that, stick to it. Then you goofballs, we don't need you. They could have had a totally different set
Well,
of
their idea
reviewers.
was that they loved all films, and the thing is they try to illustrate like, oh, you can have an opinion,
Yeah.
but if you have to have an opinion, don't hate all on horror. Give a little love to it, and that's their issue. Like, you can't say you love all films and be like, well, I really hate romance, and it's like you're not a all film lover technically, you know? You just like this genre and that's it.
Can't give 4.5 stars to Sleepless in Seattle, Roger. You can't do it. Yeah, and then give 4 to You've Got Mail. It's the same movie, Roger. I get it. We got to look up now. Well, not now, but at some point for next episode, we got to look up and see which horror movie they actually gave a decent review to, because I'm sure there's one exception out there.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
think, like what film
There's
what
got to
film
be.
during those times would they give it to? Like theatrically?
It would be something that doesn't have a lot of gore. Maybe Gremlins. They might have done something for like Gremlins.
The Mimic?
Maybe.
The Mimic was good. I got to see the lead of that movie when I was at Chiller
That's
too.
awesome.
But Mimic was probably after them.
Well, they were around, but I don't know if Siskel was dead at
Siskel
that
might
point,
have been dead.
but Ebert was still kicking.
All right. I found a list of horror that they thumbs up. Alien,
It's a safe bet.
original
Ooh,
Halloween.
okay. That's
See, now that's interesting.
Not as interesting as this one. Critters.
Oh, see, I knew it was going to be Gremlins or Critters or something like that. Critters a good film.
Critters was a good film.
I like Critters. Well, which one is it where they turn into a big ball and they roll over the guy and there's just a skeleton left
is that
behind?
2?
That's the best part of
Yeah, I
Critters.
think
That's
Two?
2, right?
yeah, I think that's
Like,
two.
it's like all I remember. Besides Giant, there was Giant Critter too. At
The
some point, there was a
Fly,
big one. That one
Yeah.
makes sense because that one really is there's a lot of drama to it.
Misery.
Can we call Misery a horror? No, Kathy Bates is pretty
Loosely,
scary.
Psychological maybe? Because he's trapped in the bed and she's like torturing him.
I don't know. That's a tricky one. I guess you could call it horror, yeah, but it's just not what we're considering as horror right now and what we're talking about. She does smash his ankles with that sledge pretty efficiently. She kills yeah. Stephen King, you did it. You son of a bitch. You definitely
And he
made that
does
a
not
horror.
remember it.
Cujo too. Yeah, that one's another wild one, but with regard to the slashers and getting back to this one again, I think the biggest criticism of the first movie is that it's got really bad hokey acting. But it's part of the charm of the movie. Depends on what you're getting into it for. You're not
Yeah.
looking for an Academy Award winning, job by the school nurse who gets murdered and things like that. Plus she dies very funny. In my opinion. So with stuff like that, you got to kind of take you got to understand what you're viewing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's My Bloody Valentine.
You can't go into this expecting it's Gone with the Wind.
Exactly. And they did a good enough job. The actual script itself was fine, and then the Scooby-Doo-esque twist at the end was kind of endearing. So we had that. We had that go down.
The Ballad of Harry Warden.
The Ballad of Harry Warden.
Part of that twist can't happen anymore, right? Like, because the sheriff knows I'm calling the hospital. I'm going to find out if Harry's there. And he calls and they can't tell him anything.
Because of HIPAA.
Well, and no records. Like, there's no records. You can't just like pop up a couple buttons on a computer and say, "Oh yeah, he died a few years ago. He's dead."
What's crazy is they lost the folder. That was the excuse. We don't have this folder. We lost it for 5 years. Like you don't have like a backup file or anything. Bullshit, Nurse Ratchet.
Dude, I got to tell you, my wife worked in a doctor's office where it was like hell on earth with regard to their paperwork and all of the folders everywhere and stuff like that. I 100 in 81. I 100% think that you could lose a chart forever.
That's
Absolutely.
crazy.
And it's not like they can punch a couple buttons and then have the records in front of them.
Just pull it up. Yeah, it's not electronically copied 50 times, and there's not backups. Like the only thing that you would get out of it were those old carbon paper copies that you would get when you would write on them, and even that though I don't think was on everything. So I'm just saying it's a possibility that they could have lost it.
They didn't lose Ray Finkel's paperwork, all right?
Nobody lost Ray Finkel. Well, they don't lose a lot of stuff Ray Finkel had apparently. All of it shows up later in the
Laces
movie.
out.
Oh man. So the original one, that's what it is. It's kind of it stands with Titans of that time period. So you've got Nightmare on Elm Street coming up. Right, Nightmare on Elm Street
Yep,
came out
84.
after, correct? Yeah. You've got things coming up. It sort of was a pretty good predecessor to those movies, and it pushed the limits a bit, which was nice. You mentioned too that Friday the 13th, the original, came out before it, which was not as gory if you watch the first one. The second one's gory, if I remember correctly. Second one
It's the
amps
one
it
the
up.
guy gets hit
Yeah.
with the machete in the face, and the wheelchair guy, he gets pushed down the steps, and you see the machete in his head, and he's just going down. It's a dummy, of course, but the imagery with the rain in the background's like very unsettling.
It's like the second most unsettling wheelchair death in a horror movie. Do you know what the first one
I'm
is?
kind of curious to know what your first one is.
It should have been the moment in Mac and Me when he goes off the cliff in Mac and Me, but that's not really a horror movie. I just wish the kid died in that scene. They were like, roll credits. They got the wings of an angel plays. But no, Red Dragon.
Oh God,
Red Dragon, when he lights the journalist on fire after gluing him to the chair. I never remember his damn name. A brilliant actor. I can never remember his name. John or
Philip
Ryan.
Seymour
What's his name?
Hoffman.
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman. He does a great job in that movie too, playing a schmuck, and he dies a schmuck. Down the street he goes on fire, and it's the twitching that gets me. The scene messed me up.
Well, just the scene from Red Dragon, real quick, comparing it to its original counterpart, Manhunter. The Manhunter version is much easier to watch compared to the Red Dragon one because Red Dragon came out in 2001, so special effect. Yeah, I
Really?
think 2001. I want to believe.
God, don't even look that up. That makes me sad. You find out it was 99 or something. I hope it's closer to today. That feels like it shouldn't be that
I
long
think it
ago.
was 2002. I was right in between.
Ed Norton finished American History X, and they're like, "Grow your hair back, Eddie. We got a role for you." Jesus. So Manhunter, can you explain to people who might not know what Manhunter is?
Manhunter is the original version of Red Dragon. It's technically the first film in the Hannibal Lecter series because Silence of the Lambs was supposed to be a sequel. Skipping on his name, the original Hannibal Lecter. It wasn't
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox. Brian Cox was unavailable.
We got that shithead Anthony Hopkins for the role.
Brian Cox does a good job.
They really slummed it.
Cox does a good job, but
Cox
he
did a
did
good
a
job.
good job. But Hopkins embodies the character more because he's supposed to be ambiguous, but he's got that playful element. Cox was just more ambiguous, where it was just like a plain slate, and it just looked like he's lost in this world, like trying to be the puppet master, but not. While Anthony Hopkins is more of that showman, playful, like I'm trying to help you, but I'm helping myself, and makes you question him more. While with the Cox one, you're just like, eh. But William Peterson, he's the Edward Norton character in Manhunter, which if you're a CSI fan, Gil Grissom, it's a nice little treat.
Cool.
It follows the book. It's basically the same story, but also Michael Mann directed it, so you get that Heat vibe to it.
Okay. And that's a thing. If anybody here has seen Heat, that is a thing. That is a vibe. I might watch it now tonight just because you said that. Throw on some Heat. All right, so that covers that little tangent into Silence of the Lambs and whatnot. But getting back to My Bloody Valentine, what we were trying to segue into was from the original. The original is what you get. It's sort of obscure. A lot of people hunt for it and they feel a little disappointed because it is what it is. It's a slasher movie that ups the ante with the slashing quite a bit. There's not really anything special about it other than that. And that's kind of special enough. It's not a B horror movie really either. It's a horror movie. It's a horror movie.
It can feel kind of quaint.
Yeah.
Like compare if you've watched horror in the 40 years since, it's gone like the 9 minutes that's cut, they don't even blink about anymore. Like that's stuff
Yeah.
that's just there. You're used to that now. But
Makes
in
sense.
'81, that was
I blame the
horrifying
TikTok.
for people.
Yeah.
It is the
I blame
TikTok.
It's the TikTok's
social
fault.
media. Damn it.
What they do with the remake, though, when they make My Bloody Valentine 3D, they lean into this hokey vibe for it that, I mean, to their credit, they own it. It's there the whole film. It's not just there for a little bit and stuff. It's a pretty hokey film. It's definitely not spiritually a successor to My Bloody Valentine, in my opinion. It loses a bit of, it's still very violent and very gory, but there's a campiness to it that's different. And I can't really put my finger on exactly why. I'm sure John is seething with hatred for that film, so I'm sure he'll be able to put his finger on it. But there's some stuff I really like about it we'll get into. One of the aspects is the guy from Supernatural is the lead actor, right?
He plays Tom in the role of
Yeah.
Tom, who is borderline heroic in the original. He's not like your full-on hero. He's more a reluctant, I'm gonna step up and try to save people.
Good deal. And then I found out a bit of trivia about him, unless you guys have that bit of trivia too from Supernatural. No? So he directed an episode of, or a few episodes of Supernatural, and one of them is called My Bloody Valentine in honor of his work in My Bloody Valentine, the film. So I thought that was pretty sweet. That's pretty cool. Little Easter egg there.
That is cool.
I'm not very well versed on Supernatural.
I'm not either, and I'm sure our listenership will kind of poo-poo us on that because I know a lot of really talented people who like Supernatural. I just haven't been into that vibe. I know a lot of people who got so into Buffy it was like ridiculous too, and stuff like that, and I never got pulled in like they did.
Supernatural's not bad. We're still working on season 1, but it's like after season 1, it's 14 more seasons to go. And oh, it should have ended at season 10. Wait, we got 5 more seasons for you. The Winchesters. Oh, it's a prequel. Don't worry, Jensen Ackles is back as Dean for an episode. Special guest appearance. It's turned into a cash cow. I was against it actually in the beginning because everyone was like, "You love the X-Files, you'll love that." I'm like, "You can't compare these two shows. It's sacrilege." Yeah, like
No.
yeah,
No,
I
would have
got
to
that
agree.
you
too.
got that too. I was like,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got that from somebody too. Oh yeah, if you like the X-Files, you'll
"Oh
love
no,
this.
two different shows."
They try to do that with a show on Netflix. I'm trying to remember the name now. It's like one word name where she has to figure out if it's faith or if it's like psychosis. Yeah, it's evil, right? It's if it's like them being possessed by demons or if it's actual psychological. And every episode kind of like ends in an ambiguous way where you can't really tell for sure, which they try to pull off with the X-Files. But at the end of the X-Files, there would oftentimes be a definitive answer that you would get. Like the mudman who lives under the suburban town, sure, his origin might be a little funky, but we understand that he is now dead or alive or whatever. Like we get that. They don't leave that dangling. And that in Evil, they do a terrible job of that. And that's why I stopped watching it. That and the VR headset for the kids with the demon inside of the VR headset, I thought that was stupid. I just kept getting angrier. Like made it through 3 episodes just wanting that to work because that concept is so good. And I just gave up on it.
The actor who plays David, he was Luke Cage in the Netflix show, so
Mm.
it's got a good crew. Just, I mean, I don't mind it. I just kind of go into it and be like, oh, okay, this is just fun. Someone's having fun with the idea and the concept, and it was pretty cool that I think it was on NBC, and NBC was
Mhm.
kind of going into that realm of showing shows like that at 9 o'clock, which is it's so
WNBC.
unorthodox for them, you know? It's like they're doing Cheers and Seinfeld, and now it's all about demons. They tried Constantine too. They had that Constantine series.
Did Lionsgate do Constantine too? I know Lionsgate's what brought My Bloody Valentine 3D
Yes,
out, but I don't know. Is that Constantine as well? Lionsgate leaned into horror for a minute there. Sorry to throw that into your. I totally gunked up your gears on that one.
No.
Sorry, but I know Lionsgate's the reason why this movie got made for starters, and they roll into the 3D thing pretty hard, and I think that was a big part of why they made this movie in the first place was to throw that 3D stuff out there.
The slow resurgence of 3D in horror film Because they did that with the Friday the 13th movie that came out that same year. They had 3D on that. It was just like that pattern.
Didn't that one have the other supernatural?
Yes.
The other character from actor from
Yeah, the
Supernatural.
other supernatural guy was in that one.
Sam gets his ass kicked by Jason.
That was around the era when a lot of people would go toe to toe with Voorhees for some reason, and they put it in every movie like it was going to end well. They did that with a few of the later Halloweens too. That like H2O, they would have some angry dude run up and start punching Mike Myers. Like, no, you can't do that. That's
Trick or
silly.
treat, motherfucker.
I remember when he put a woman inside of this really hot pool of water until her skin melted off in the
Halloween
hospital.
2.
You can't beat him up. Yeah, that messed me up. I was like very young when I saw that scene. Way too young to see that scene.
I mean, you see the bubbling, and then you just see his hand. It reminds me of, actually, to connect it to My Bloody Valentine, the hot dog scene when he puts Dave's head in the hot dog, the boiling water. Now, in the
Mhm.
cut I saw, I think, John, you have the same cut. I don't know if you've seen that cut, Martin, is you actually have a camera in the water and you see the skin actually peeling off into the hot
Yeah.
dogs, and then all of a sudden they're picking out the hot dogs and serving it to the people. They're like, I don't know where Dave is, and they pull out the boiling heart. It's good writing for a horror film, but also at the same time you're so disgusted
Mhm.
because you're like, if they only knew.
You know what, Dave? That's what you get for boiling hot dogs.
Yeah.
That's
How
what
do you
you
like to
get.
make your dogs? You don't like dirty water dogs, John?
I do not.
You do
Grill
not.
'em.
Put them on the rollers. Grill them.
Yeah, grill
What about
'em.
fried?
Grill them. I
It
agree.
takes the same amount of time.
Fried's
Fried?
good.
Like deep
Yeah, you
fried?
put it on a skillet, split them,
Uh-huh.
deliciousness. Give it a little crispy edge.
If you give me a deep fried hot dog, you'll have my heart in a chocolate box.
Very nice. Oh man. Back to the film. You two. So in the new version, they were definitely pushing 3D. And one thing that's undeniable is some of the 3D elements in that movie were done very
Yeah, they
well.
were.
They used it as a big advertisement too. One of the big draws. Remember the fire coming out of the screen and all that?
Mhm.
They showed the effects in the previews for the movie to draw the audiences in. I don't know what the box office was like for My Bloody Valentine 3D, but I can imagine it was probably pretty good.
Not as good as they would have liked it, because there were talks of doing a sequel, and all that fell through because of that critics and stuff and the payout that came out from it.
Okay, so the money didn't come in. Because usually critics can go F themselves. They'll just take the money and run.
Lionsgate looked at both factors, and they just wanted to move on. Plus, I think also during that time, and this is the sad part about Hollywood, is they were just, again, it's a cash cow. They were just releasing movies left and right in the horror genre just to make that money. I think we were on like another Texas Chainsaw Massacre at that time, a part of the remake
Yeah.
series. The Friday the 13th movie, which was supposed to get a sequel, that was rushed because they put parts 1, 2, and 3 together. The following year, you get the greatest remake of all, Nightmare on Elm Street. Sorry, Jackie Earl Haley, love you, but that was rough. That's a rough one. It just they it was all a cash cow.
Robert Englund will always, always, always be Freddy. Nobody should ever play that role again.
Agreed.
Nobody.
Retiring it wouldn't be a bad idea. I've thought about that before too, where they did New Nightmare and a few of these other movies and they had England in it and then they kind of went left on it. How many do they make with what's his name?
Jackie Earl Haley,
Is it
just
one or
one.
two? Yeah,
Jackie
just
with
the
the
one. It wasn't well received. That was the origin
Yeah,
story. It was
yeah.
like, yeah, kids come into my boiler room and then the stupid kids did it and then they should have punished those kids for listening to that janitor. Just saying. Those are some dumb
that was
kids.
the original concept.
Victim shaming. The original concept was he was Chester the molester and the parents burned him alive for it. Didn't they do a twist in the other one where he was like it was misunderstood?
They made him more into a murderer because the original New Line cinema execs were like, we can't have him be a molester in the 80s. It's not going to be good for our horror genre, so we're just going to make him a murderer instead. That's definitely better. which in hindsight, for advertising wise, it is better. I mean, those kids were wearing Freddy costumes all that Halloween.
But it's a little scarier to think that he can invade your nightmares, but he's a convicted child molester, at least in the court of public opinion. Like it ups the ante a little bit when Freddy's going in there and it's like, all right, there's a guy in my nightmares. I don't my dreams. I don't like this, but there's a child molester in my dreams. There's a bit of a twist on it that you don't really think about when you're watching the movies. Just saying, maybe
Yeah.
make a sequel with that angle.
No, that's too far. Too far on that.
It's too much. 2025, we can't handle it.
No.
No, we can't do that to poor Freddy.
Child murderer works better. You're right. Pumpkinhead, they do something like that too, I think. No, the guys accidentally kill the kid. That's what happens in Pumpkinhead,
Yeah.
and he goes on revenge for that. I'm not gonna get started on Pumpkinhead. We're gonna reel it back in. The guys on the motorcycles, I think, hit the kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love
that's the thing.
Pumpkinhead.
It's one of my favorites. We have to do like everything about Pumpkinhead at some point.
Mhm.
I want to talk for 45 minutes just about Guillermo del Toro having Pumpkinhead in his foyer, standing there to greet him when he comes home. I think that's the coolest thing ever, too.
Awesome.
But Atkins, let's talk about definitely the most notable actor in My Bloody Valentine 3D. He plays the sheriff.
Sheriff Jim Burke.
Correct.
Retired sheriff, I think. I think he's retired.
Yeah, by that time.
He's like retired, but not retired.
Just when I thought I was out,
Yeah.
this miner pulled me back in.
He shows up in one scene.
The Danny Glover.
He shows up in one scene that like it's close to the end, and he's like, he's in the house. I feel like they just had him for certain scenes, and they put him in there just because they were like, Tom Atkins, we're giving you all this money. Here, be in this scene.
They wanted his face, out there.
Which is so strange. They want a movie that they're marketing for like teens and 20 somethings desperately wanted a 70-something-year-old man's face.
I think it was because of the attraction. He was in The Fog, Creep Show, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, Night of the Creeps, Maniac Cop. I think they wanted his appearance to like kind of attract that older audience, because the older audience are like, oh, it's My Bloody Valentine. And a lot of reviewers have said about this movie that it has that old 80s slasher vibe. And it does in its own modern way, but at the same time, Tom Atkins really pushes that envelope for that. So it's bringing that viewership as well as new viewers. Because new viewers see Tom Atkins, they're going to be like, oh, he's a good actor. What else he's in? And boom, Escape from New York pops in. There's a gem. Just saying. Love my Snake Plissken.
That's a good reference. Escape from New York.
So while we're on Tom Atkins, why like that whole plot point where after they killed Harry Warden, they dragged him into the woods and buried him in the woods? It seemed like a justifiable shoot, right? It's not like there was police brutality or anything that they needed to cover up.
More fun to pretend.
Yeah,
like
I guess.
you're an episode of Sopranos.
I just wanted to shoot him. He shoots him first. He runs into the mine, and I think they had him like cornered or something, and they just shot him and killed him. So I guess storyline purposes, he couldn't hold up to that part of the bargain. The sheriff, it was like all his merit went away because he did this unspeakable act that he wasn't supposed to do, and now it's like he's like withering away. That's why he comes back to kind of, I guess, put some merit, some respect back on his name, but that of course doesn't work out.
What's your take, John?
I mean, I know why Tom Atkins is in it, because he needs the money, but it's a waste of Tom Atkins.
It's a waste of Tom Atkins. They said they were going to make him, if they did a sequel, they were going to make a role for him again to put Tom Atkins back in the movie.
I would mock that, except they literally did that with Return of the Living Dead 2. They just recast two guys in different role as different people with the same result.
Who needs continuity? That's good stuff. But yeah, Atkins definitely seemed like he was in the movie because he needed the money, more so than for the love of the game.
He had the sex scene with the sexy,
We
angry blonde girl,
Irene.
and who in my notes I have named Pebble Lukewarm Austin because he looked like a Stone Cold Steve Austin ripoff kind of guy.
Give
Oh,
him a
good
hell
call.
yeah.
That was an
Yeah, but
interesting one.
he wasn't extreme enough to go hell yeah. He'd be a give me a heck yes.
Well, yeah, that the character was very bitchy, but I mean, to put that in film, just the, I mean, I'm over exaggerating saying 5 minutes, but that scene where, they're banging, it takes a minute, and then it's just full frontal nudity, for quite a few scenes, and for that time period, 2009, that's really unheard of for that time. That's more of like a late 70s, early 80s move right there.
Yeah. The shock value nudity stuff kind of went out of favor with Memento, right? Not Memento. Wow, I said Memento. Ass to ass. You guys know what I'm talking about. What?
It's not the crying game. Boys Don't
It's
Cry.
Jennifer Connelly and in that iconic role. You
Okay.
guys don't know what I'm
A
talking about?
Beautiful Mind.
It's definitely not Boys Don't Cry. No, oh, you wish. In A Beautiful Mind,
Okay.
to get that. It's
Oh,
the one Requiem for a Dream is the movie. I don't know why I always get that one and Memento confused in
God.
my head,
Yeah,
but I
no,
do, and
that's,
it's not okay. Uh
yeah. I went a whole opposite way with that.
Wild stuff. Yeah, yes. Well, I mean, I didn't give you much by way of directions. So, it is what it is. But yeah, now what led us to that is a great question. Oh yeah, that was the like end of sort of the shock. Right, Requiem for a Dream came out. People saw that scene. It kind of hit everybody in the stomach, like, ooh, wow. Then what after that did we get tons of gratuitous, full-fledged, full frontal rather nudity? Not much, for the sake of it. So it was an
yeah,
interesting choice
especially since they
for My
didn't make
Bloody
the boobs
Valentine
3D.
3D.
They didn't come at you. I had my 3D glasses on and all. There's nothing. But out of all seriousness, I feel like if you can put it in the script where it makes sense for nudity, certain people will push for that. Or studios will push for that. Sometimes, like, I think of one of the scenes, Final Destination, which the guy who plays Axel, he was in the original Final Destination, one of the main characters. But I go and I think of the scene where the guy with the blonde hair, he gets out of the shower
Mhm.
and Death is trying to kill him in the shower. And he escapes from the fire escape. And, he's got the towel on, but it's like he's walking on the broken glass and stuff. He slips, his whole body goes on the broken glass, and you see the ladder come down. Like those scenes where it's like you have no clothes or anything and it works in the film to show the horror really does something where it's like just put in there for just to oogle and look.
Mm,
Apparently, it was the actress's decision. She wanted the movie to do well, and it
It's
didn't.
also a nod to the 80s slashers because like gratuitous nudity and 80s slashers go hand in hand.
Yeah. I'm shocked it was her choice.
Probably
That's
why I
true.
liked him so much.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
In the 80s. Because back then there wasn't everywhere. I
Nope.
mean, for those of you guys who are
When
in the know,
back in my
back
day
then
you
it
had
wasn't everywhere.
cellophane between the magazines.
Back
Not
in
one
my
click on the
day,
internet.
Back in my day, they didn't even cellophane some of them.
Oh,
cellophane on the magazine. Yeah, it's wild. The fact that I know the same convenience store was down the
Hmm.
road from you as was from me, John, is what makes this even more funny.
Yep.
Old D's variety. Is there any other aspect of My Bloody
I
Valentine
like
you
I
guys want to
think
get
we
into
can go
before you roll
into
into
a
your top
couple of the
fives?
things that really put me off of it. Number one, aside from like the 3D elements that kind of look good,
Yeah, let's do that.
it looked like it was filmed as a made-for-TV movie. Like, it did.
yeah.
There was something about it that lacked that sort of cinematic value for me. It's okay. Like I can get by that. I can't get past the end. And spoilers, 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 spoilers. So in the 81 version, it makes perfect sense when they explain at the end it's not Harry Warden, it's Axel, because Axel watched Harry Warden kill his dad when he was a little kid. It perfect sense. He's messed up in the head now. He's acting out what he saw. In the remake, it's Tom, and it just doesn't work for me. Aside from the fact through the whole movie, they set Tom up as the better character. He's a better human being. Axel's a jerk. He's cheating on his wife. He's that, but he's not only is he cheating, he's that jealous cheater that's like, oh, what are you doing with him? You're banging the cashier. You can't be mad. But
We were on a
when
break.
it's revealed
Use
that
the Ross
it's
defense.
Tom doing the killing in the remake, it falls flat for me because it doesn't fit that character
I
for
didn't
me.
like that aspect either. It works better with Axel and that whole story of him seeing his father murdered and him being traumatized and him holding on to it and snapping
Mhm.
works out better than being like, oh, I was sent to a mental hospital and I'm still nuts and everything's gonna be okay. I
Yeah.
feel like if there's story elements that work, but then that's one story element that doesn't work. But also the thing is the characters in the original I like the characters more because it feels like they're people that I would have hung
Mhm.
out with in high school or as a young adult. Those were the people I was hanging out with. In this one, Axel's an asshole. Sarah's like clueless. Like she's got her couple moments, and I really push for her because she was Goldie, Wendy, in Sin City, which not to Sin City, great book series written by Frank Miller. Definitely read it. Watch the movie. But I was had high hopes, and it's a rough play. And Axel is a dick,
Mhm.
and it's like you said, like he's got so many unlikable qualities, and I feel like watching it from a story perspective, they try to make you be like, oh, to like them both, and question which one is Harry
Mhm.
Warden or the miner,
Mhm.
and you don't. You hate them both because one's a cheater, and it's just Dean from Supernatural without his brother. That's it.
Yeah, and he's like most of the movie he seems too whiny to be the killer.
Yeah.
I will give them that they did a decent job recreating the mask and the costume, but the person they had in the costume seemed the wrong body type for me too. Like, he's just kind of like lanky and like just seems like a long skinny dude in a jumpsuit. So that kind of didn't work for me
He
either.
was like flailing when he was like doing the scenes. Like you see the original and he takes out the light. It's like bam, bam, it's all serious. This guy was like
Hmm.
boosh, boosh. It's like
Yeah.
it doesn't work. And I get it because it's like even when he was like he's trying to fight, he doesn't look menacing. Like you think of like the classic, like especially like Jason, right? Or even the original My Bloody Valentine. It's how you grab as an actor or stuntman in that character that makes the character. This guy, he was just like you could. It's felt like it was like a teenager trying to fight adults. Like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, and just he's just everywhere.
Yeah. The remake just misses me badly.
I knew
Hmm.
watching it that you. Well, I already knew you didn't like it because you dropped the hints, but I was like, yeah, John does not like this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say this. I also watched the fan film that's on YouTube called Valentine's Bluff for a movie that has no budget, not a great script, bad acting. It's kind of okay. Like it does some interesting things with the story. It's kind of okay, especially after watching the remake. Like, they should just done this.
Instead
Yeah,
of making
yeah.
the 3D,
Or
you mean?
you put the budget into that script, clean it up, and you know, I'd be fine with that. But that remake that doesn't hit. But
Mhm.
that's remakes.
That's remakes. Most of them don't work. That's all right.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2000, I think 3. I think that was a decent remake.
Hmm.
Once you're on your second or third remake, so kind of
Count the
like
Matthew McConaughey one with Renee
over it.
Zellweger, The Next Generation.
I'm franchised out.
That one's so
Oh,
bad,
God,
and
Count them
I
all.
love it.
it's a good
Count,
bad.
count them all. Um, but before we get into those, we're gonna do vampires because I want some John Bon Jovi goodness before we do Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's my one condition. But on a serious note, that wraps up My Bloody Valentine 3D perfectly, and showing what it doesn't do well. It doesn't do what the first movie did well. It doesn't do the one thing that was beyond argument good about the first movie, which was the gritty
Yeah,
sort of slasher horror thing from the 80s. They cartooned it up. That is the best way to put it. And it doesn't land, especially for guys like John. I
mhm,
enjoyed it because I was like, oh, this is like a mockery of what it should be. And I know that John hates this, so I'm gonna watch it and enjoy it. But there were some things I
mhm,
liked about it. They tried to like pull that Scream vibe in a little bit with the twisty ending.
mhm.
That didn't work, like you mentioned. Everything about it was kind of shit, but it was still a good watch. It was a great watch watching the original because that's like going into a time capsule and
Yeah,
pulling something glorious out. But that's My Bloody Valentine, and we hope that you watch it on Valentine's Day with your sweeties. Just bring up that movie
Yep.
on whatever streaming platform you can find it on because it ain't easy.
the
It's
remake
on
is.
Shutter,
There's a.
right? Well, the
I'm
remake's on Shutter for sure, isn't
spring
it?
for it, man.
Yeah,
The
the
Blu-ray
original you have
release
to
is
dig.
really good. You get
You
both
have to
cuts. You
dig.
get a ton of extras.
You can get it on Prime. Oh, that's cool. Get it on Blu-ray is a good idea too, but you can
That's
also
the
buy it.
steal.
You can buy it on Prime for
Yeah,
$4.99, I
$4.99 is a good
believe,
good price for
Very
which
that.
good.
is fine. Yeah, it's fine. Um, I mean, for a lot of the old ones too, they don't charge more than $5 for a lot of the classics. But yeah, that's
Yeah, man.
My Bloody Valentine, everybody. We're gonna roll into our top fives from the guys here. Let's see. John
I
went
always
first
make
last
Ryan go
time, and he
first. I
usually
like
makes
Ryan
no,
going
All
John
right.
first.
makes Ryan go first all the time,
So
right?
this week I went with top 5 holiday slasher theme films. Some are very familiar. All of them are going to be definitely familiar. Number 5 is Black Christmas, 1974, directed by Bob Clark. It is the first slasher film in that vibe of the first person point of view. Um, you know, the guy in the attic, he's in the house. Awesome slasher film. Also, it's the first holiday slasher film set during Christmas, one of the most joyous time of the years, and it's a bloody time of the year for the sorority girls in that house. Number 4, I love this film. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Came out in 1997. It is set during the backdrop of Independence Day. The beginning, they're
Mm.
driving away and they hit this guy to cover up their.
We got a bit of a reach here on the holiday theme. We got a bit of a reach. We're just gonna phone that in. A bit of a reach on the holiday theme. There's fireworks in the background while Jennifer Love Hewitt's boobs are bouncing. It's the holiday.
And
Freddie
then,
Prinze Jr. was not in that one. No, it was the blonde guy, wasn't it? It was Freddie Prinze Jr. and blonde guy who's like, "We gotta kill him. We gotta leave his body in a ditch somewhere." And Freddie Prinze Jr. is like, "No, man, it's not the right thing to do. I'm gonna be in fever pitch someday. I gotta be a good guy."
so, oh God, I was like 8, 7 years old. Yes, 7 years old, and just seeing the image of the raincoat with the hook, like that shit scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, that's but I'm gonna call you out again because that's like saying The Sandlot's a holiday movie because they go to the carnival on the 4th of July and puke on everybody after chewing tobacco. Tequila.
I Know
That
What You Did
is.
Last
You're
Summer
not
is
wrong.
a holiday film.
You're not wrong. All right,
Number
I'll stop
3,
giving you crap about the 4th of July.
April Fool's Day. When I first saw this film, oh God, it's so good because there is a twist. I'm not going to spoil it because
Can't
I
argue
do
with you.
recommend people who are a fan of slashers, horror films, or just a good watch watch this movie. Basically, a whole group of college friends go to this house on vacation, and this unwanted assailant starts killing them one by one. Or if you think so, I'll just throw that in there. Put in a question, make you wonder, make you want to watch it. Number two, modern
Oh,
classic, Thanksgiving.
tricky.
I do love that slasher film.
Okay.
It's a holiday. It's Thanksgiving. We have an assailant killing people in a Massachusetts town, and he's dressed like a pilgrim, and he's just slaughtering people. The main motive is very unique. It's a nice build up, and they have a really good cast.
It also has a nice twist.
Yes, and it's right in your face too, which was nice because you see it, and then it's like as it builds up, and you find out at the end what happens. You're like, okay, it connects and it makes sense, and it's you want that in a horror film. You want that to make sense or to happen in the sequel. And to get into my number one, it's my favorite of all time, Halloween, 1978.
No, that's a perfect one. Halloween is the perfect choice. Plus, there's a little
Mhm.
twisty to it too, because a lot of people don't consider Halloween to be a holiday. So, like that, you know what I mean? When you say a holiday themed movie, they think that Halloween is sort of like that's horror time, so we don't count that in the holidays. But I like that you did Halloween.
They'd always, trick or
Semaine.
treat. It's fun. It's a time to be scared, share
Absolutely a
scares.
holiday.
Yeah, we should have it off, but they won't approve that. Give us Halloween off.
Give us November 1st.
Oh yes.
No, they never will. That would be sweet. I want to lobby for the day after the Super Bowl, the Monday after, or make the Super Bowl a Saturday, you heathens. That'll be fine too. Or the day after Halloween if it's on a
I would agree
weeknight.
with that. Make it,
If
just
it
give it to
hits a
us.
weekday,
Don't
the day
even like.
after, I mean.
This is what
That's
we want.
100%.
Tear down that wall.
Federal holiday. Yeah. Then another Reagan moment going for the podcast. We started with it, we're ending with it. All right, Ryan finished out strong with Halloween as his
I
number
went
one.
with
John, what's your category this
5
time around,
other
buddy?
romantic movies for Valentine's
Ooh,
Day.
Tom Act.
So
Of course, you stuck to the
listen,
theme because this is a holiday.
I'm probably stretching romance with some of these, but listen, it works.
Can't beat 4th of July for.
We'll see. I might. So my number
I
5,
promised I'd stop. I'll
Wes
stop.
Craven's Shocker.
yes. Mitch Pileggi.
Yeah, timeless love. Timeless love. So
Wait a second.
convicted executed serial killer Horace Pinker comes back via electricity and resumes his killing spree, destroying the love, and maybe this is what it is when you hear these names, of Jonathan Parker and his girlfriend Allison. Who
That's awesome.
Oh boy,
and
John and
it
Allison.
turns into her ghost helping
No
him
wonder.
defeat Horace Pinker, and they are a timeless love. It's even one of the songs. It's got it's one of my favorite all-time soundtracks.
Yeah.
It's like
I,
Shocker.
s- I stayed away from
Nice.
sockets after watching that
You
film.
big
That movie scared the
cornball.
crap out of me as a
Stop
kid.
loving your wife.
And just
hmm It gets so goofy
That's a good
too.
one. That one hits.
yes.
That
hmm
was
hmm
AMC too. That one was on
Yeah.
AMC Fear Fest for a while. By the way, we called it Fright Fest, like Six Flags, the entire episode. We called it Fright Fest the whole time, and not until I put the graphic up did I realize we'd done it. And I was just like, "We're letting it
And
ride,
like
baby."
the
But
end
yeah,
fight just
Shocker was
devolves
definitely in
into
that.
ridiculousness as they're like hopping through TV
Yep.
channels fighting. And as Ryan mentioned, Mitch
That's
Pileggi before his time as Skinner on the X-Files.
That's a strong start, John.
Number 4 is Lover's Lane. So 13 years after Valentine's Day, a killer who tormented teenagers at a lover's lane returns to extend his reign of terror.
Okay.
Anna Faris is in that one, pre-Anna Faris.
Like
Does he?
pre-scary
Yep.
movie?
Does he adequately extend it?
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, really? Cool.
It's going on
So
the
she's
list.
It's a
actually
good one.
attempting to
It's
be
a
in a
good one.
true
It's got
horror
a
film?
nice,
I have to
got
watch
a
it now.
nice Blu-ray release too.
He's
I don't know.
married
Is Chris
to
Pratt still married to her?
Arnold's daughter. He's Arnold
No.
Schwarzenegger's son-in-law.
Solid
The
swap out. He should
okay.
have married the bastard.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
That's what he should have done. Marry Arnold's bastard child, because Arnold's going to leave everything to that one. That's his
He's the
favorite.
only
Mark my
he's the
words.
only
He's
child
a
who
swole kid who
works out
looks
with him.
just like
All the
Arnold.
other kids are like, "No, we're not going to
Oh,
work
good
out." He's like,
stuff.
"I'll work out with you." He's like, "Just pump some iron.
Mhm.
Just pump it."
They're all doughy. They're all doughy little Kennedys. He's like, I must spread my seed. I must pump the iron with my new son from the maid. He's a child that I deserve.
How do we ever get
Enough
there?
of it. How did we get there? How did we get here?
Number
All
3,
right, John. What's number
Spring.
3?
So Spring is
true.
directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who have done a string of like trippy, time warpy sci-fi movies. But Spring is a true horror movie. Guy kind of
Okay.
struggling in life goes to Italy to find himself and falls in love with a woman who seems like she's the woman of his dreams, but she has a dark secret. It's a very dark secret.
Okay. Oh, I know this movie.
Endless.
The two actors that
They
did
did
this did The
Endless.
Eternal as well, right?
Resolution,
I'm not
Endless.
actors. They
Yeah.
directed. Yeah, The Endless. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watched Spring because
Yeah.
I loved Endless
Yeah.
so much, and Spring is dope. Spring is a good one. Lovecraftian cosmic horror style too. John, excellent choice right there, my friend. I'm just so happy I know one of his obscure
Awesome.
choices, everybody. I never know any of these movies. This is great. Now,
Yeah.
Spring is awesome. If you haven't seen Spring or The Endless, you must watch both of them.
It's same story, same
Yeah, fair.
timeline, just different perspectives. It sort of makes The Endless make more sense, which you kind of need sometimes with The Endless. The Endless is not like a
Got
casual
it.
watch.
No, yeah, it takes a lot of time. If you have watched the Southern Reach trilogy or read the Southern Reach trilogy books or seen Annihilation, that is the type
I
of
do
vibe
too.
you're getting with The Endless.
I do
But
too.
I think The Endless is better than Annihilation, personally. Yeah, it's a great movie. And yeah, Spring does have that great romantic vibe to it. The woman, the Italian lady that he falls in love with, it's a solid pick for this, especially this list. I can't tell you how excited I am. I knew what you were
So,
talking about.
number 2,
Yay.
Cemetery
Okay.
Man, or
What's next?
Della Morte
I
Della
know
More.
Cemetery Man.
So oh man, Cemetery Man is wonderful. So first
What a
off, you get
name.
young Rupert
Yeah.
Everett, which is cool. So Cemetery Man is a cemetery worker and his friend, who's not the highest functioning person in the world, nightly fight off the newly risen living dead, which comes to include the loves of both of their lives. It's such a
Okay.
strange love story for both of them that I don't even want to tell you about it if you haven't seen it. Like you kind of have to experience the way both of the two characters fall in love with the people they fall in love with. Their different reactions,
Okay.
to them coming back to life.
All right. See, you're being just cryptic enough where I have
Yeah.
no idea what it's going to be like.
Yeah,
So I'm just like, yeah,
and
that sounds
it
interesting.
does also
Does sound
wind up in
interesting,
that
though.
sort of weird existential spot too. And then my number 1,
Okay.
timeless classic,
All
Frankenhooker.
right.
Oh,
So after a tragic lawnmower accident claimed
oh
the
my
life of
God.
his fiancee, medical student Jeffrey I mean, every lawnmower accident is tragic.
Aren't they all tragic?
Every lawnmower accident is a tragic
Sorry, I'm
lawnmower
sorry.
accident. But they're not
I didn't mean
always
to butt in. I'm sorry.
your fault. But when you try to create self-running lawnmowers or remote-controlled lawnmowers,
Mm.
these things kind of might maybe happen more often.
Accidents.
So
Accidents.
yeah. So Jeff,
Elon Musk, you bastard.
Or
If only there was a man who could
lawnmower
Where's
control
Pierce
all the
Brosnan?
lawnmowers. We'll call him Lawnmower Man. Sorry,
so
we have to
so
be quiet.
Jeffrey
We have
will
to
go
let this
to
man
no
finish his last
to
one.
great lengths to bring her back, including super crack and hookers.
All right.
As if regular crack wasn't enough. You learn a new thing every day, kids.
Oh, the love story in Frankenhooker is perfect.
I mean, it's been a long time since I watched Frankenhooker, but it's a sentence I didn't think I'd say today, but it's true. Yeah,
Frankenhooker
solid
was number
list.
As it should
one.
be.
We did get to number one. I'm not jumping the gun, right? That Frankenhooker is your number one. Yeah. All right, nice. Those were two great ones. But yeah, happy Valentine's Day. And we hope you enjoyed this one and hope you enjoy watching My Bloody Valentine. I know you're not going to enjoy watching the updated version of it, but you can try it. For at least Ryan said there's a
It'll
5
tickle
minute
something.
gratuitous sex scene in the beginning. That might tickle your fancy. It probably won't tickle something.
Happy Valentine's Day.
It's an interesting watch.
Happy
I'll give it that.
Valentine's
But
Day.
yeah, happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
See ya.
Be